LHanks, Communication 101, Casey Glanders, June the 14th, 2010, Introduction Speech. Hello everyone, my name is LHanks. Yes, Hanks, the long-lost relative of Nancy Hanks from the Lincoln era and Tom Hanks the actor, neither of which ever included me on their Christmas gift card list. My current hometown is Kokomo, Indiana, Purdue Territory. Having spent most of my life in South Bend, Indiana, which is most definitely Notre Dame territory. Thankfully, we have the Colts to bridge the gap. I am currently in my second and last full year of school majoring in heating and air. I am finally learning to relax and enjoy the experience somewhat. I ended up in a college program as a result of becoming a displaced worker after having losing my job from Delphi. It was no easy transition for a dyed-in-the-wool, blue-collar guy, but I slowly learned to adjust. The rest of my talk will focus on where I've been and where I'm going. Honestly, if anyone would have ever told me 5, 10, or even 40 years ago when I was getting out of high school that I would have been back in school for any other reason than a required parent-teacher conference for one of my children, who, by the way, are both college educated, I would have laughed. Laughed until I cried. My mom and dad, especially my dad, would have probably had the same reaction, but never say never. As the saying goes, here I am, actually passing my classes with B's and C's. It's not that I have anything against school, especially for other people, but I just never saw myself in that role. I was brought up in the 50s and 60s in northern Indiana. And at that time, I graduated high school in the early 70s. There was no shortage of jobs. Manufacturing jobs were plentiful in my area, and I had great benefits, insurance, and very strong retirement packages. My father came to South Bend area from Kentucky along with a lot of other people because of the manufacturing jobs in this area. If not for Dodge's, Studebaker, Uniroyal, Bendix, or Wheelabraiders, then just a few miles away there were trailers and RV factories and hundreds of small factories that were involved in the manufacturing of all the goods of all kinds from those factories. Times were good, and even though we were involved in a war 1,000 miles away, jobs were plentiful and families lived pretty well on factory pay. Most of us just assumed we would work our entire lives and retire from one of these factories. But sometimes life has a way of changing your path and you find yourself in a new place under very different circumstances. Several years ago I was working in a factory job that I had had for 15 years, and I decided to take a chance to start my own business. At the time, Croaky was really going strong, gaining popularity, and I decided to get on with it and try it for myself. Well, with hard work, good equipment, soon paid off, and I had more jobs that I could handle on my own. I hired some people to help me out, but most of the places I serviced wanted just me to be there. Things got to be too complicated, and I actually missed punching a time card and just doing my job. I was really ready for a simple life again, so when my wife wanted to move to Kokomo to be near our daughters, I was ready to pack it up and go. We made the move, went to work for Delphi, and my wife started her own business. Everything was moving along great, but fate wasn't done with me yet, and things were going to change again, bringing me to where I am now. Well, to make a long story short, the recession hit, and I was laid off, my wife's business slowed down, and I ended up here in school, back in school after 40 years. 40 years of marriage, kids, jobs, layoff, recessions, and just plain life. If I learned anything in that time, it's nothing ever stays the same, and you usually survive most things. Yes, we do survive most everything in life, and with any luck at all, I'll even survive public speaking this semester. Thank you.